An ice cap, 100 or so miles south of the Arctic Circle, is not the first place you would think of if you were looking for a party of schoolboys and a BBC film cameraman. But that is exactly what you would have seen if you had been in Iceland in August and September of 1956. The purpose of the expedition was to teach these boys the art of fending for oneself under difficult conditions.
Every summer, when most people head for the seaside, groups of teenagers strike out into the less-known parts of the world to savour the real taste of adventure and widen their horizons.
They make the decisions about how much food, how much tentage, how much fuel, the routes, and they get cautious advice from the leaders, but by and large we like them to do their own planning.
The most these youngsters will admit is that it's something different. But surely it does go deeper than that. Is it perhaps that the toughness and simplicity is an enjoyable contrast to the fish-fingered convenience of civilized life?
With each day, my confidence grew, along with the self-belief that if I could do this, I could do anything.
It reveals my strengths, resilience, and capabilities that I didn't know I had, reshaping how I view my limits and potential.
I think it's self-determination, self-assurance, so that you can know that you can do that hill. You might not do it as quick as other people, but it gets done eventually.
"12 days since our first night in the wild, 12 days of nature, 12 days of wonders, mountains, rivers, and lakes. Those days passed by like an hour or two. I slept between clouds. I dived in freezing rivers. I climbed 1,200-meter summit. I never thought I would do all this adventure. I never thought that I will be sitting in Bothy next to a river, writing diaries. If I have been told 6 years ago, I will say these are lies and far dreams. However, I wasn't alone. I had amazing fire, and I don't think without them I will get to the end of the expedition. I went through some feelings that I will never be able to describe. Only tears will do. Although I hadn't enough safe in my short life, I was safe. Hello, my name is Rahim, and I am a student in UHI in Venice. I was born in the Middle East, Saudi Arabia, and when I moved up to UK, it was really difficult to me to cope up with the social life and with the culture.
Hello. Hi, Susanna.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm Susanna Cass. I've volunteered with British Exploring Society since 2017, and in 2024 I was chief leader for the Hearts Highlands expedition. British Exploring Society is an organisation that was founded by someone who had a really tough wilderness experience. Spending an accidental winter in Antarctica is pretty grim to think about, but the reality these days is that our young people, a lot of them have already had experiences far more challenging than that by the time they are 16, 17, 18, 19 years old. Prior to the expeditions, as chief leaders, we're given what information is available, and sometimes that's plentiful. There's lots of detail from care and support networks. It's important that we know these details so that we can support young people as best we can, and we can be really aware of their context. With Rahim, it was quite sparse information. We knew that he had some very traumatic childhood experiences, that he'd escaped from conflict, that he had been in the care system in the UK since arriving, and was at the age of 19 at that point experiencing homelessness and being supported for that, and really had sort of one family member in Scotland that he had travelled to be with, but apart from that had so little network around him.
I had like no one to speak Arabic with. I was literally forced to speak English, which was like really helped me. I went through some kind of PTSD therapy. The recommendation they were talking to people to go outside and have like a pure time like that's not interrupted. And after that, like not in a while, not in a long time, I saw a reel while scrolling on Instagram. I saw a reel that came up for the exhibitions and BES. I did sign up for that. Firstly, like because I wanted to improve my mental health at that time. I wanted actually to see and to connect a little bit with the nature. I didn't know what the exhibitions, how the Highlands look like and how the exhibition gonna be. And each night comes up with like really extraordinary places and extraordinary things that to see and to explore. And it is somehow treating was.
He was such a fundamental part in forming his fire group, in the bonding of that team, and we saw it every time we went to visit them.
The people around me in the exhibition were like really, really good people. It was like 12 days or 13 days, but it was more that we were more than fire. We were like a family.
He was really generous in sharing his story and being quite open about his life experiences to date with the other young people in his group and with leaders, and that was really touching, really inspirational to hear what he had overcome and to feel the amount of positivity that he was bringing to everything that he was doing in life at that point, and that he was looking forward to in future.
The impact that I got from the exhibition it was like really, really needed at that time. Those like circumstances that I've been through like before, it had like somehow permanent effect, and it somehow at some point it repeated itself. And sometimes all what I need is like a comfort and like a little bit of consultation, and that's it. But what was in the exhibition was way more than that. It was a feeling that I hadn't had before. It was really good. It was really, really good. I wrote that it was a far dream, to be honest, about guys. I didn't know that gonna be there. Didn't know that the circumstances will change. I didn't believe that at that time, and everything went like really, really, really fast. From that time to this time, I wanted to be a physiotherapy, because I got really excited about how the human body works and stuff like that. The exhibitions came and it's added to that perspective more than it's just to treat muscle. It's treat muscles, and after that you can treat as well the mind, the mentality. Adding time to just connect a little bit with the wildness. It's something, as I notice, it's like really beneficial. And I think at what point being a leader and being a physio at the same time, it's more beneficial than you being just a physio.
Immediately after the expedition, he was already talking about coming back as a leader. Hopefully that will be with British Exploring Society, but wherever he goes and whatever he does, I know he will be paying forward and being a phenomenal leader in sports and the outdoors, and through his physio training as well. I hope one day he's standing in my shoes as a chief leader.
Hi, my name is Naffie. I'm from Bradford. I've been living in Bradford for 11 plus years.
She joined our family, I think, when she was about 11. She's been with us quite a few years. Yeah, we hope she succeeds in everything she does because she deserves a really good future and she's worked hard for it.
Before the exhibition, I just used to stay in my room a lot, just keep to myself, not be that involved.
Because of Naffie's experiences, her creature comforts were extremely important to her. I remember when we first got Naffie a phone, she actually said, "Have I gone to heaven?" You know, that's the impact it was. And from that moment on, it was a huge security, prop, and friend.
Normally, when I get up, the first thing I do is pick up my phone, spend like an hour scrolling on TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat. After that, just get up, brush my teeth, have a breakfast, and then the same thing again, basically. And then I'm like, that is draining.
I see it myself in being a foster carer that so many things are cut, especially for mental health. I think it's tragic, really, that is the way that the society is going. And in children that are in care, they're almost invisible in a way.
Before the exhibition, I never came to these woods. I never even know it existed, and I've been living here for 6+ years. These woods means everything to me. It's like my calming and peaceful place to come. Just coming and just even sitting down, putting your headphones on and just seeing the view in front of you, especially at sunset, and then you come here like it's nice and warm, and then you can also hear the birds. Even if you're not listening to music, you can hear the birds. I really like running. Running is like when you got the headphones on and you just got the road, you're just running, and you just really just bring a peace within myself. When I used to go on the treadmills and stuff and just running, I'm like, oh, this is nice. But so let me try this nature, and then it's nice just being by yourself, having just me time and just running with the music on and just like in your own zone, basically. Don't have to think about like work, college or anything. I just running. And also you can have breaks and look at the surrounding, and it's like out of a movie scene, basically. It's peaceful. Putting on airplane mode just give me a set to just keep going until I have a break or something. I put my phone back on again, but sometimes I can go 2 hours in the woods without my phone on, and I'm like, oh, I have a life, so the people can wait for me, and I just have me time. It's like clear my mind out of everything that's going on in my life. Before, I used to be gross of nature. I'd be like, ew, no, I don't want to do this. I don't want to sit there. I don't want to interact with anything. I just want to be somewhere like nice and comfortable. Life on exhibition was moving. My social worker mentioned it to me because I just want her to, I just say yes to everything she says to me. I'm like, yeah, so she can just leave my house. And then when the time comes, they go, you're going to be going 2 weeks. I go, oh, 2 weeks away from my bed? Okay. They didn't mention I can't have no phone, no toilet. We're not going to have a proper food, and we're not going to be like sleeping on a luxurious bed. I was way out of my comfort zone. I remember the training week, by the second day, I genuinely didn't want to go. But then when I came home, we had like a month or so before the exhibition, and then I thought about, you know what, let me get out of my room a bit.
You could see the look on her face where she was, imagining herself in those situations. But again, to be able to say, no, I'm going to do it. So it felt like a long time when she was away. And then she got the train back. When I helped her take her rucksack off and I said, how are you? And then she lifted her netting up, and she had loads of like bites on her face. And I just said, well, what did you think of it? And she said, oh, I loved it. And I was like, I was absolutely elated and shocked.
Oh, it was different. It was like, when I say different, it was different. Like the exhibition didn't have like, oh, I didn't bring my blanket with me. I didn't bring my onesies or bring my dressing gown with me or pillow, anything like that. Like, I brought them with me, don't get me wrong, I brought them with me. And then when I got there, like, you have this bag to put this stuff in. I'm like, but my blanket won't even fit in there. People go through a lot of things in life, either depression, anxiety, but going on this trip, like, you don't have to focus on anyone. You don't need to even care about making a mistake, because no one's there to judge you. It's just your own journey. It's like a spiritual awareness, and it was like building up as well, because I'm a Muslim, and then going on that trip, going to see God's creation, like, wow, God has given all this to us, but we see only a little bit of it, and just staying on our own room and just being on a device. But getting out of it was like, wow.
Naffie's attitude to life has really evolved. There's almost like she's got a inner power and an inner sort of safety net for herself, because she knows what she's capable of doing.
Like, before the exhibition, I don't like talking about emotions, because I'm like, oh, they're just asking me for like a repetition of like, are you okay, but they don't really care about that. And then when I went to the exhibition, every morning they will ask us how we doing, like give them a rate of 10, how we feeling, and then end of the day ask us how we feeling as well. So at the start I was like, oh, the same thing, but towards the end I go like, yeah, these people actually like listen to what I'm saying and then understands what I'm saying. So it's okay to talk to other people and just like express emotions. I'm still working on it, like talking to people about my emotions and the things I'm going through, because in my head it's like, I don't want to bother people, but actually people are there to listen to you.
Naffie is someone that I myself have to try to look towards. Like, she's, you know, someone who's done her GCSEs and passed everything. And that's something that I want to try and follow in her footsteps to do, because Naffie's had struggles in her life, but she's always overcome those struggles. And even to this day, she's still overcoming what is in her way, and that's something that I wish to do as well.
I've been inspired the exhibition to be a social worker. I mean, I had social workers in my life, but going there and seeing different people and working with different people, like, okay, if they were being there for me at the start, maybe my life might be a bit different, but why don't I be that person for someone who's going through similar situation as me when I was little, so that they can open up and be able to build the communication and the emotions out to other people.
Yeah, I want to say this, that I've known Naffie my whole life, and she's gone through a lot through her life, and I've always been there with her, and I've experienced the sadness and the highs and the lows basically, but she's always managed to push through it, and she's made me into a more outgoing person, made me more willing to do things. Every single day you learn something from her. You might not realize it, but she's always doing the good thing, and I love that about her. She's always there for me, and I'm always there for her at the end of the day.
Spin off! Finish again! That's a great little knock. Come on. Deliver now, Connor!
Hi, I'm Ellie, and I went on an expedition in the Outer Hebrides last August. When I was 4, I was diagnosed with something that normal people would call dyspraxia. I would call a chromosome deletion. I think that's the technical term.
Yeah, he was always very happy, wasn't he? Very cheerful.
Mm-hmm.
When he started school, his reception teacher said very quickly that she thought he had dyspraxia, which wasn't something we knew anything about, but which affects coordination. I don't think his diagnosis was entirely straightforward, and he had very tenacious paediatrician who did genetic testing when he was about 11 or 12, and they discovered that he had this rare chromosome disorder. So that explained quite a lot. When people ask, why he can't do certain things or to explain that, we tend to say he's got dyspraxia because it's a better-known condition, but actually it's not really quite that straightforward. It's actually something else, but because nobody else has the same thing that he's got, it's really difficult to say what that is, or even what his life's going to be like, really, what the prognosis is for him. Yeah, he just makes the best of things, really, doesn't he? He's very determined and very cheerful. But things are not as straightforward for him as they are for other people, I would say. He loves football and he couldn't play very easily, and that's quite isolating, particularly at school where what people do at lunchtime is have a kickabout. He's always perhaps just been on the outside a little bit.
Because of the dyspraxia, I can't really play. I used to try and play, but only for primary school, just for fun. And then I moved into football refereeing when I was 16. Of the Westland FA. I'm now doing open age football in the Westland League. I'm not sure how old they are, but not a youth match set over 18. I'm guessing most of them are.
That was a major thing for him, because all this frustration of loving sports and loving being active but not being able to participate in the same kind of level or proficiency and what have you as most of his peers. When he started doing the refereeing, that's his way into, well, he's involved in sports, he's involved with football, and it's really difficult. I mean, I would hate to be in charge of 22 random people running around, all pointing at me for getting the decision wrong, parents watching on, and...
Don't get me started on parents.
But he kind of embraced it, and we've never set limits on him. I mean, although we knew that certain things might be very difficult, we'd be like, okay, well, let's see if he can learn to swim. Let's see if he can ride a bike.
I decided to go on the expedition because of my dyspraxia, and I wanted to challenge myself.
He was generally up for trying new things, but hadn't really done anything like that before.
Did we have many midges? Yes. Midges were part of my diet. Even though I'm a vegetarian, midges were an exception.
He's very gung-ho, actually, so he was like, yeah, I'll be fine. I was like, I'm not sure you've really thought about what it's going to be like to unpack and pack a rucksack, maybe at least once a day, maybe several times a day for 3 weeks, because that's something he finds really complicated.
And also, I mean, we were excited for him, but we were a bit nervous, as Julia says, because he can get tired very quickly, but he's not aware that he's getting tired very quickly. Or he can get hot and not realise he's getting very hot, or get cold and not realise he's getting very cold. So it's one thing to feel it, it's another thing to know what to do.
Because of my dyspraxia, I didn't realise when I was in pain, so the first time I thought I got a blister, it turns out I already had 4.
He wouldn't necessarily communicate that, but we would always look out for that, whereas now on the expedition, obviously, we tried to hand over the responsibility to Ali to remember to communicate it, but also to the people leading the expedition, just to look extra, just check in with him, even more than you would with anybody, just to make sure he's okay.
Everyone was so helpful with my dyspraxia. Like if I needed help tying my shoelaces, didn't even have to ask. Someone would just go, Ali, would you like help? And I'd be like, yes. Which I couldn't be more grateful for, if I'm honest. So
we felt confident that he would be supported, and just hoped that it wouldn't be any major difficulties.
Yeah, I mean, really, I thought he might come back from the training expedition and go, I'm not doing this. Because the training expedition actually, they had a pretty wet week then actually, and I remember going to pick him up from the station when he came back from that, thinking, he's just not going to do this. He was very kind of dishevelled and chaotic getting off the train, and I was thinking, he's just going to get in the car and go, that was terrible. And actually he got in and went, I really want to do it. And I was really surprised because, he just seemed like somebody who's had a really tough week. So yeah, I was amazed really when he said he wanted to do the full expedition. I think one of the things that had an impact was the logistics of having to get to a new place and meet a new group of people and be away from home, because not long after he did the training expedition, he then went on this FA leadership residential in Warwickshire, and that again was another kind of slightly complicated train journey and meeting a group of people he hadn't met before. But because he'd already done the training expedition and had to go to Plymouth by himself, I think he was more confident about thinking that he could do that. He's kind of looking at a life where he needs to navigate the world by public transport, and so knowing that he could get to quite a far-flung place by himself using lots of different trains and get there on time and without panicking too much was just a really important thing for him in terms of feeling independent for the future. So regardless of where he might go, knowing that he can travel using public transport, I think it's been really important for him.
It definitely taught me that I'm tougher than I thought I was. Got through it, which at times I wasn't sure I was going to, especially when halfway through we still hadn't had a good day of weather, and I was like, I don't know how long I can take this. I was still walking at the front and keeping going. I think the expedition has helped me because it's probably helped me deal with bad weather conditions, so when I'm refereeing I can still do it to the best of my ability despite cold weather, so it just keeps me going, keeps me motivated. It was so heartwarming. I like to challenge myself to just see how strong I am mentally, and it definitely worked.
So my name's Ellie, and today we're in Glen Nevis in Fort William. I am the engagement ranger at Nevis Landscape Partnership, and part of my role is to run volunteering sessions, work with people, and then also run all the practical side of the course on the UHI ranger training. I really enjoy my job. It's really varied. I get to come out and do stuff like this. I get to run workshops, work with lots of people. I also get to spend a lot of time in nature and kind of doing conservation type work. Yeah, it's really varied, and I get to work in an incredible place as well. We've got Ben Nevis behind us. We're in Glen Nevis just now, and yeah, it's amazing. Lots of trees, lots of plants. So today we're here digging out some American skunk cabbage, which is an invasive plant species, with the UHI Countryside Skills with Ranger training course and some Friends of Nevis volunteers. And we're all just trying to get stuck in and get rid of this kind of horrible plant. One of the reasons that they're so invasive is because they can regrow from parts of the rhizome. So if you leave a little bit of root. Coming into the kind of outdoors and the outdoor industry, it wasn't really something that I kind of grew up doing. You know, I didn't go on like hill walks and bike rides, and I didn't go like kayaking or any of the things that a lot of people in this area kind of grow up doing. It was noticeably a very kind of macho kind of space, and that is not necessarily the most welcoming for everybody. I think especially for kind of newbies and beginners, it can feel quite overwhelming to not only not know what you're doing, but also to be faced with all these people that are, you know, quite bravado about it and like to let you know that they know what they're doing. Yeah, so it can be quite intimidating and quite difficult to find your route in. So before expedition, I was quite shy. I didn't have a lot of self-confidence. Was quite quiet, very unsure of myself, I suppose, in lots of different situations. And I was working in an industry and an environment where you kind of needed a lot of self-confidence, and you were expected to kind of know what you were doing and always be the kind of loud voice in the room that was able to lead the charge and look after a group. So it was quite challenging at times, trying to sort of put that face on and kind of pretend that I was that kind of person, when actually I was pretty nervous a lot of the time and didn't necessarily feel like I knew what I was doing. It's been really good having some really amazing people to look up to who, you know, aren't showing this sort of like macho approach to the outdoor industry. So my colleague Lena, who is amazing, she's a mountaineering climbing instructor and, you know, winter mountaineering climbing instructor as well. And she's super encouraging and has been really supportive about everything that I've done and everything I've been trying to learn.
She was great. I think she had her head wrapped around her job. She was very enthusiastic about what she was doing. I felt like she was quite ambitious with what she was trying to achieve.
I was feeling like I needed to do something, if that makes sense. I was kind of still wanting to do more of this outdoor stuff and feeling a bit stuck. And it just came along at exactly the right moment. That was a very well-placed advert.
The whole process clearly had its challenges, and it clearly had a purpose, and it wasn't just going on a holiday. And it had an aim, and I think Ellie fully bought into that. And I had no doubts that she would make it. She was ready for it and really excited.
Life on expedition was something else. It was amazing, it was brilliant, it was really enjoyable. At times it was really hard, it was really challenging. It was amazing. I just thought, you know, the people that were there that I met, the reasons that everybody was there for were just really inspiring. Yeah, I guess I was kind of hoping to kickstart a bit of self-confidence and maybe a bit of kind of knowledge and skill that would help me kind of grow in the industry and the space that I'm in. And our adventure leader, Vron, who was out with us on expedition last year, she's very humble about what she does. You know, you get chatting to her and she's done some incredible things. And she was also so encouraging. For the first training session for the expedition, she asked me what I did and I explained and why I was there. And she said, "This is perfect. You're like, this is exactly where you need to be. This is going to be such a good thing for you to do."
I think it's hugely important that women, you know, come into the outdoors and have a space there and have a space where they feel confident and they don't feel like somebody else will just take over and sort the situation. And I think the more of us are out there doing their thing and doing it their way and maybe doing it differently to, you know, those that might historically have been in that space is absolutely brilliant and absolutely important. And that doesn't happen if we then start putting each other down.
We did a lot on kind of leadership theory, but when we actually went out on expedition, we got an amazing chance to actually put that into practice and, you know, put it into practice in quite a challenging scenario as well. We were out there for 4 weeks, camping every night. We were in some pretty difficult conditions at times, and you know, everybody was exhausted and cranky and hungry and things like that at various points. So being able to kind of try and be a good leader and also a good follower in those situations was really well worth practicing. And it's something that I've definitely brought back to this job. I think I try and be a lot more observant and understanding of the individual members of the group rather than just treating them as one group. I know how much I valued it when I was a student, how much I learned. And, you know, even if you don't necessarily go into this industry or into this kind of career, the days that we have out as a group, I think it does everybody a lot of good. Being with and at times, you know, getting my turn to lead a group in mountainous environments, I think was just such a boost. So when I was on the expedition last year, I got a lot of encouragement from the other leaders to apply and come back as a leader this year. So again, I got home, unpacked, and one of the first things I did was check out the website on how to apply as a leader. Got my application in, and yeah, was absolutely over the moon to have been accepted as a knowledge leader on one of the expeditions in the Cairngorms this year. So yeah, it will be an amazing learning opportunity for me, and I think it will be amazing to see it from the other side and seeing the YEs on this year's expedition kind of getting similar things out of their expedition as what I got last year. It felt like I really became part of something bigger with everybody that went out on expedition.